Welcome to another episode of A Podcast. Your host, Stephen Maxted here. And today we have the lovely, super spirited entrepreneurial Shelby Olson, co-founder of Beauty Bark, but she's done a few other things before this. Like many entrepreneurs, this isn't her first endeavor. And thanks for joining us, Shelby. I'll let you do a little introduction of yourself on top of my little intro there.
Sure. Thanks so much for having me, Stephen. So as you mentioned, I'm Shelby, one of the co-founders of Beauty Bark. So I run it with my partner, Evgeny. But my entrepreneurial journey actually started in high school. So I think it was grade 11. I had taken an elective course. It was just like a marketing class, kind of offered like how they usually have video classes or like some computer skills development classes. So as part of that class, we had to find a local business in the city and for free offer to do like social media marketing for them.
Cool.
The business I actually worked with was the fudge guy at the Forks, if you
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. 100%. Is he still there, or she, or whoever runs that business?
No, they're not there anymore, but great
yeah,
business.
okay.
And I was fortunate enough to get to work with them, do some behind the scenes photography, videography, and really help them get on board in the digital age, if you will, with social media. So after that course wrapped up, I was kind of thinking like, hey, that was actually pretty easy. Seemed like this company got a lot of value from it. Maybe this is something I could actually try doing. So from that, I opened my own little social media marketing agency. So that was, around grade 11. And it actually went really well. So I had a number of clients in the city, kind of all over the place, worked with some local businesses selling like spa products, some more government agencies too, doing like live tweeting at events and just monthly management. And then in my senior year, I actually brought on 2 staff members to help run it because it was going quite well.
Hold on, question. So you're saying you're in grade 12 and you're
Yes.
hiring staff? I love it. Okay, sorry, I had to do a hand up. I'm just like,
No,
when you're
that's
saying
okay.
senior year, that might mean
At any time.
something different. I get excited and just laughing. That's awesome. So wait, you keep going. I interrupt you here, but how did you hire these people? How did you find them?
Mostly through networking. So one of the companies I was actually working with as a client was Innovate Manitoba.
Oh, yeah.
So they put on a lot of entrepreneurial events around the city. And I had connected with these 2 individuals through one of those events who were interested and had the skills and ability to take on some of the work that I was doing. So just through a few conversations and some onboarding, was able to bring them on. But then towards the end of my senior year, I was kind of feeling a bit stagnant. Like, it's great, this little business is running. It's making an income. It's great, but I wasn't learning. And something that we had talked about just before this podcast actually is how important learning is, especially in the entrepreneurial journey. You always need to be consuming new information, moving forward, bettering yourself so that you can better the business that you're working on. So I ended up actually passing the business on to those 2 employees to take over and manage. And I went to work for an agency in the city as an apprentice. So working with somebody who had been in the marketing industry, I think at the time, like 20 or 30 years, had a lot of experience. And I just wanted the chance to learn from someone who had been doing it for a long time. So I went there, worked for a number of months, and then ended up leaving to start university in September. Kind of figured this is going to be challenging. It's going to take a lot of my time. I should probably focus on my academics, but that didn't last too long. So a couple of weeks into my first semester, I was at the Asper School of Business. I approached another agency owner in the city who was doing some really cool things and ended up starting there as an account manager. So I was, we're going to Asper full-time during the day, and then between classes and in the evening, I would be doing work for this agency. And fortunately, they were very flexible in allowing me to kind of work my work schedule around school. So I was able to do both. And after a couple months there, ended up moving into an account director role. So I helped oversee some of the account managers and manage some of our higher value client accounts. So worked in automotive, food, fashion, healthcare. We had just clients across the board, which is a great experience and great exposure, just having to have both that breadth and depth of knowledge, because we're creating content for all of these different companies. So naturally, you have to at least know
Learn about them
to speak about
yeah.
it. Yeah, so that was great. I was there for a number of years before I was approached by a small medium business in the city in manufacturing, actually, to move into a internal marketing role. So that was an interesting one. Never had done something like that before. Sorry, I feel like you want to say something.
No. Well, I don't know. I'm just listening here. I feel like I'm like an add-on from the listener here, just be like, holy crap, that's quite the journey. So sorry, no interruption. I'll raise my hand if I have one that's really exciting.
Oh, of course. Yeah, so
awesome.
I was there for a while, and then I was approached by a tech company in the city. So Bold Commerce, I think a lot of people from Manitoba have probably heard of that. It's a great story that had started out of Ildashane and grew to a few hundred people when I was working there. So again, a marketing role, but kind of an entrepreneurial marketing role within the company. So Bold is focused on e-commerce, and the teams that I was put on was part of their labs division. So there was two kind of little companies within it that I was split between as the sole marketing person. So we had one that was focused on creating like an e-commerce experience for Twitch streamers. So these large Twitch streamers could actually sell merchandise and engage with their following. And then the other company was called Kick Booster, which was in the crowdfunding space. So we helped entrepreneurs who were running Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns actually raise more money through affiliate marketing and help them manage the pledges that were coming in and the orders that they would in turn have to ship out. So that was a really cool experience. And then my last year there, I was working as a product manager. So I moved from marketing into product management and actually took over the referral marketing app for Kick Booster. So working with the development team to build features and enhance the app. And yeah, it was a really cool experience because while it was not my own company, we had the opportunity really as a small team to do a lot of the strategic planning and thinking and take it on as our own. So it was like running a little business, but with the support of a big company behind it, which was a great experience.
Totally. No, that's awesome. I've definitely had a similar experience in ag with this one tech startup where it's well funded, but you were given your own geography and kind of a light roadmap at best would be the way to describe it. And then it was like, you go do your own thing, whatever's, not whatever's necessary, but what is needed and required for business and makes sense for your geography. Because as you mentioned, and I mean, I'm sure this is a common language amongst those roles there too, but between learning different industries, but then even learning like different geographies, marketing is done differently. Within those specifications, whether it be a different country or just a different province within Canada here. We do talk and click on different things for different reasons. So that's super wicked. What a cool background. Okay, wait. And so I think we kind of just segued in here. So then continue, I guess. That would be the best way to put this.
So that app that I was working on towards the end of this past year, so 2022, the app was actually sold. So Bold went in a different direction, focusing a lot more on their e-commerce presence and the checkout experience. And Kick Booster and those other apps didn't really fit under the vision anymore. So at that time, when the app was sold, myself and most of the team, including Evgeny actually, so my partner in Beauty Bark, we were laid off. But well, that could be a negative thing. It was
it's been there.
Timing for us to have a little bit of space to reevaluate what it is that we want to work on, how we want to spend our time, explore deeper into some of our existing interests. And so Beauty Bark, the company that we're talking about today, the one that we started, it was kind of already a little bit in the works before this happened. But I'd say this has really catalyzed Beauty Bark turning into the business that it is now. So again, gave us that space and time to really focus in and hone in on what it is that we wanted to do with it. And that pretty much brings us to today. So we are
awesome.
a couple months into the business now, and I've been mostly selling through markets and online, and it's been a really fun journey so far.
And I just held up the packages here, and I think that was a great intro. I love hearing that whole story. Sorry for popping in a couple of times there, but I was just like, so many things like parallel too, because I've been in the situation going with a company. I went through like a merger. First time it happened, I thought I was going to be with this company for the whole way, and like I think that would have been a great journey. In my mind right now, the way that I look at it, I say like, thank goodness, and that was a really positive experience. It gave me a great foundation for exploring a lot of other things and skill sets. All the training that they did there. That was one of the first ag jobs that I had. It was seriously like crushing when you when those meetings happen or whatever. I don't know how yours went down, but I don't think there's ever a good way to give that news, especially when you're passionate about what you're doing. And you're growing the business, you're seeing success, you have a plan for the next year or two.
You sunk yourself so much into it too. Like it was our baby. We were spending so much time just planning and putting our heart and soul into it. So of course it's bittersweet, but ultimately I definitely view the situation for myself personally. I'm definitely fortunate as a positive experience and the fire that I needed to get back to the entrepreneurial side of me that I had not visited in a while.
Do you think that and I had this thought, maybe it's because I think that this is still fair or like recent, maybe not new necessarily, but like when I look back on that now, I'm like, I think, the comfort of the job and all the training and stuff like that, I really would have never questioned what, a lot of you always ask for, a little bit more pay every, thing if you're performing well, or that just comes up in general. But when I look at it, and then the experiences I had after that just gave far exceeding my expectations of both salary and opportunities that came after. And some of those ended up kind of failing, we'll call it, in similar fashion. They're company decisions and downscaling things that occur with potentially rapidly growing tech situations is the best way to allude to that. But I found going through those changes, it became less worrisome. It was weird, all the stuff that weighed on my head. I was like, oh, I gotta go get a new job, and then I gotta sign up for their health account. Whoa, that's gonna be such a headache. And then after changing a couple of times, I was like, oh, that's super easy. All you do is switch, this account goes there, and just getting familiar with that process almost kind of made it dangerous, I would say, from the side of if I'm the employee and there's, things aren't going well, it was not that I'm jumping out right away, but it was kind of oh, this isn't as scary because there's other jobs out there well equipped with the skill set. And I think just finding the right home after that became a little bit of a pattern. So anyways,
I think that kind of applies to everything. The more exposure and experience you have with those more challenging things and times, is the more comfortable you get with it. So
that's
you have to, whether it happens because of external factors or because you're taking the risk yourself, you have to put yourself out there and be okay with the discomfort in order to reach that level of comfort, right?
Dang, you should host this. Yeah, you know that though. That's exactly what it is getting uncomfortable and then being okay with that.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it there. And let's
are you ready to try some Beauty Bark?
I am ready. I held up the package here before. I have you did awesome. You dropped off a couple of these. I think it was last week. For me, I had them in the fridge because they are made with all natural products. This is just my own take on it. So we have 2 packages here that we'll talk through, and then I also have the website on the screen here for kind of reference for the company. But in my right, it might be the person's left here if they're watching. Beauty Bark, we have orange chocolate that makes you glow right here, and then we have Coffee Crunch, which the listener probably could have read before. They're Beauty Bark Coffee Crunch flavors. So these are 2 very different looking chocolates. If you can see inside the packaging here. I might open these up. I don't know if you have this on your end too, but I'm going to open them up and have a little nibble. Any recommendation? Oh, you can use too. Look at that. Okay, we all got. Sea salt. That one looks good.
Yes, I'm sorry. We had sold out of that one when I.
Okay, you mentioned that. Yeah, that's okay. I'll have to order more after this. Which one should I start with? Is there any order that I should go?
I would recommend starting with orange. It's a more gentle flavor. The Coffee Crunch, because it has real coffee in it, definitely has a bit more of a bitter taste. So I think
Okay.
starting with that one off the bat
Let's do it.
might be.
Okay, super easy to open packaging. We have the back. We'll talk about this as maybe as some snacking in here. I had a realization right before whether we were listener about the ingredients in here. There was some learning to be had. But these are cool. There's like a bunch of little squares in here. This reminds me a lot of shout out to another company that does something cool in chocolate world too, Midday Squares.
Yep.
In terms of like their product, I know we talked about them. I'm a huge fan of their product, and
Really cool company.
I mean, I love chocolate stuff. It all actually started for me. I went on a tour after going through a career change thing. We'll come back to that. Sorry, and then we'll get into the grades here. The first time it happened, I went right back to working. But the second time it happened to me, changing work situations, I was like, I should have went traveling. So that's what I did that time. I just like booked a flight right away, Costa Rica, and I went on a chocolate tour though. So I don't know how your process goes, but I got to do like a tour on a chocolate farm down there with the beans and everything, and they broke it up and did it like, yeah. And I never forget how different it tasted than any chocolate I've had before, because I'd had dark chocolate from packages, which was like the closest thing, but it still wasn't the same. And person watching or listener, this is the first time I'm actually sampling this, so you're going to have me live chewing and that in a second here. While I'm doing that, Shelby, why don't you walk through maybe a little bit on the ingredients here as I'm sampling here and chewing, so I'm not trying to do both, but like, yeah, give us the real feel for what's in the product here, because I know it's more than chocolate.
Yes. So I'd recommend also just taking a little bite to start, because it is pretty rich. Like, it is a dark chocolate. But yeah, so we make it from scratch. Everything is the raw ingredient that goes into it. So we have organic raw cacao butter, raw cacao powder. It's sweetened with dehydrated maple syrup, so there's actually no refined sugar in it either. Then it has organic whole ground vanilla bean, so the real plant goes right in. We don't use any like extracts or artificial.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Thank you. Ceylon cinnamon, sea salt, and then what makes it unique though is that it contains mushrooms. So when I'm talking to people at the farmers market, which is where we're mostly selling now, I always get kind of funny looks. So either people think like, oh my gosh, is this going to make me high for the rest of the day if I have a sample? Or they might wrinkle their nose, because there's definitely a little bit of a mushroom phobia in, I'd say, North America in general, really.
Right.
You're thinking of like the mushrooms that you'd have with your steak or something. It's like that doesn't quite go with chocolate.
Right.
But the mushrooms that we use are called functional mushrooms or medicinal mushrooms. So out of all of the mushrooms that exist, there are a smaller group that we've discovered so far. I'm sure there's going to be more as more research is poured into it. But that are so nutrient dense and provide so many benefits that they're actually used in a medicinal way. It's not just simply a food. So the mushrooms that we use in Beauty Bark are chaga and tremella. So chaga is known for helping with digestive health and immunity. It's also one of the highest foods or highest antioxidant rich foods ever. Like, it's extremely, extremely rich in that. It also helps with SOD production, so that protects your skin. And if you read on the site, we actually have more information about all.
Okay. Well, I had two things pulled up here, and for a listener, I do have the website pulled up on another screen here, and I was referencing that before. And just as, I mean, as fact checked as this can be, but I just Googled how many mushrooms are in the world for reference, and for live on here, approximately 14,000 species. So there's a lot of mushrooms, and likely, to your point there too, a lot more like use cases than we're used to. I mean, the same as other foods that are eaten in other parts of the world. We don't always look to them in the same way. And, they're not always like, you don't have the ability to grow them here. So they're not a native, product for us here locally in that way. And I'm just reading through. Yeah. Okay. So you have some great information on here on, what was the first one you said there? The chaga? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it's second on here. And I'm just looking at, type of mushroom. You have all the listed. Yeah, well, I was just giving you tell the story as we're going here, but if the listener did want more information, it's right on the website here with a very well written. What does it look like? What does a chaga mushroom look like versus the other one here we have with a tremella?
I actually do have a picture of it in front of me. Let me.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot at all on that one. I was just thinking,
I have one of my favorite books, which I would also recommend if you're curious. It's called Healing Mushrooms.
oh, cool.
So it's actually written by the founder of Four Sigmatic, which is a really cool company out of the States.
Yeah.
You've probably heard about Four Sigmatic's mushroom coffee. That's the one that most people have known about or have heard
100%.
of. Okay, so here's a picture of chaga. You can see on the
Okay,
bottom.
that is so cool. Okay, so that's it. So it's kind of like a darker looking.
Yeah, it's not a
mushroom.
typical mushroom shape.
Yeah.
So what's unique about chaga too is we call it a mushroom, but it's technically not. It is the mycelium, which is like the root of the mushroom. And it's actually mixed with some bark from the birch tree that it grows on. So most mushrooms, when you think of them or see them like the actual shape of the mushroom, that's called their fruiting body. And that's what's typically used. But for chaga, it's a little bit different. Then I'm going to try to find a picture of tremella.
No, that's okay. While you're doing that too, I'm pulling up the other sample. Not to rush anything, but just to, I'm now genuinely curious. I just finished eating lunch before this, and I was like, I got a coffee. I'm excited to have this chocolate. That wasn't necessarily the plan, but it's perfect timing for.
I have a little, if I can get it to focus. So that's tremella there.
Super neat.
Yeah, it's a really cool looking mushroom. It kind of looks like a loofah, like what you would use in the shop.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I used one this morning.
That's in there. And tremella is actually known as the beauty mushroom. That's its nickname because of the effects that it has on the skin and.
Oh my God.
That is really where we get the name beauty bark from, is from this mushroom that we include in it.
Get the front door out of here.
Yeah, because of the benefits that it has. So on top of being really good for the skin, tremella actually has more vitamin D than any other known natural food source. So extremely, extremely rich in that.
Super cool.
Yeah, and vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin as well. So when we're pairing it with the natural fat in the cacao butter, that's actually helping it be more digestible and can be absorbed by the human body a lot easier. So everything that's in there, while it tastes great, has a functional purpose as well.
Yeah, and I'm just going to dive into, there's a lot of chocolate in these bags.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying I couldn't finish it, but there's a lot in here. How big are these bags? 80 grams.
So it's meant, like, definitely kills the craving quick. I'm sure you can speak to that it is a richer chocolate for sure. It's not something that you'd probably want to eat too much of at once because it does satisfy that chocolate craving pretty quickly.
No, totally.
And so cool. In it, like, you don't need to have a ton at once to have the benefits. It's something that you actually want to have incorporated into your diet in smaller amounts over a longer period of time to really have the benefits from it. It's something that should be habitual, part of everyday routines. This is just one way that you can get those healthy mushrooms into your diet in a way that, as long as you like chocolate, you will hopefully enjoy.
Yeah. No, great. I really like the sea salt flavor. Like, there's just like a hint of it, and I'll notice it on the last on the ingredient list here too. But yeah, I like that a lot. That's a
sweet and
winner over here.
Always
I'm like a live sampler thing in here now. Per quarter pack 20. Oh, cool. Oh, I see. Okay, so same as like most nutritional things, it's broken into like a kind of more like a serving thing, which makes a lot of sense. And I would definitely agree with that comment around not needing loss. I don't know. I thought I was gonna like this one more if I had to pick between two of them, and you have several flavors.
Yes.
I think online too. So, but now I'm like, I like the orange one is really good.
That one has surprised a lot of people. Like, usually when we do a lot of sampling at the market, so people have a chance to actually try it, because you think mushroom chocolate, you're like, oh, that's probably not going to be too tasty. But well, I'll let you say if you like it.
I think it's just like chocolate. I mean, it's like I think it's an important storytelling feature, but it's for sure. Yeah, like it's not quite the same. I have had other orange chocolates before.
It's been one of our best sellers very consistently. So people who like those Terry's chocolate oranges that you get at Christmas and you whack them open, tend to love this.
So funny.
But the people who don't like that chocolate also tend to really like this. The other one, like,
it's so fun.
It's an artificial orange flavor, right? Like, it's a little bit of a chemically taste. But in this one, we use a natural orange oil. So you actually get that real citrus flavor, and it just pairs really nicely with the chocolate.
Yeah, this is awesome. Okay, so we walked through the fact that this chocolate is not just really good chocolate. We've got mushrooms in here.
Yes.
Mushrooms that are good for your skin. That's the first one. Sorry, I'm just going to reference this and tell it in the way that I heard it there.
Digestion and immunity.
Tremella, and immunity. And then the other one was the chaga mushroom. What would boost immune system, more antioxidants, right? So it was the antioxidant one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, cool. We have beauty, health, and gut health all in one here. That is so cool.
And the other ingredients too, they do have benefit for the body as well. Like, I think it's generally pretty well known that dark chocolate does provide benefit. Like, it's very high in antioxidants. But some of the ingredients in here are actually adaptogens. And if you haven't heard of that term before, an adaptogen is either a mushroom or a herb, typically, that helps the body restore balance. So what's unique about it is that it's not specific. Like, it does for the body what the body needs at that given time. I've kind of heard them compared before to like cruise control. So
interesting.
You know, if your body's like a car, it gives you the gas when you're maybe going up a hill and applies the brake when you're going downhill. So it helps slow you up or slow you down and speed you up when you need. So chaga is actually an adaptogenic mushroom, and cacao is also an adaptogen. So cacao contains these compounds in it, theobromine and magnesium. So theobromine is similar to caffeine in the effect that it has on the body. It's a lot more gentle, but it does give you that stimulation. Like, it's more of a stimulant. And then magnesium helps calm you down, helps you relax.
Totally.
Better sleep. So both of these compounds existing in cacao actually work the way that your body needs at the time. So it's going to affect people differently depending on where they're at, what they've eaten in a day, how well they slept the night before. It's just really, really cool and fascinating.
Yeah, I would agree. This is, I mean, I'm just kind of looking forward here. I'm checking out. So, slightly different thing. We'll come back how this discussion is flowing here. But I just was going on the website here to refer. I know, and we're going to talk about upcoming like events down the thing here. But there's four flavors that you currently have. We have hazelnut, dark chocolate orange, coffee crunch, and sea salt.
Yes.
Now in front of me here, I had coffee crunch and orange. You had sea salt in front of you there today, hazelnut. Are you looking to do other flavors, or are you focusing on these flavors, or is that flavors? I don't know if the right way to like say this.
Flavors.
Different. I think that's right. Sounds funny when I say it. Different styles of chocolate. Yeah. Are you looking to explore and do like other, different other flavors as far as that goes, or are these selling really well? Or are you just focusing on like a few here to really push?
Just starting with these 4 to keep it a little simpler for us. And to get some feedback, seeing what sticks, what kind of flavors people like. So people more into like the nutty flavors or the fruity flavors. Totally. But I have no shortage of ideas for other flavors.
Sure. Yeah, and sorry, that wasn't. I go on. We'll call it just kind of squirrel mode too as an entrepreneur, and it's probably better to stay focused. That was not a question to get you going and making more flavors. I think this is a really good spread here too. Just like looking at me, you got like hazelnut, like that thing. There were orange, little citrus, coffee crunch, a little more coffee, the sea salt. I'm sure that one, like you mentioned too, good seller for you guys. That is so neat. And then you can definitely tell us the experiences that you've had.
Every time we do, like it's not just the flavor itself. Like we have to get like the nutrition labels done and consider and how it's going to hold up as far as like shelf life goes, or how it will do if it's applied to heat. So every time there's a lot more considerations than just, of course, the flavor itself. But I definitely want to be introducing a couple more soon. I have way too many ideas of flavors that I I think could be really cool and tasty, and want to experiment with that. But something else that we'd also like to introduce at some point in the near future is other ways of consuming these mushrooms and adaptogenic herbs. So
very fun.
looking at potentially introducing some warm drink mixes that you can enjoy your maybe hot, I'll call it hot chocolate. So you can have,
oh, that's fun.
Yeah, have your mushrooms
Very cool.
drink form too. And I've been making these for us just at home, like every single day. Usually have a mix of cordyceps mushrooms, lion's mane,
cool. Yeah,
such
I've
cool.
done lion's mane.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I've been making my own kind of drink blends with like matcha, blending it even with coffee, and kind of being our own guinea pigs. But that's something that we would like to introduce to other people soon too, because after having consumed these for at least a year now, a couple of years really, I've noticed such a difference in just my day-to-day energy, mood, overall wellness and health since incorporating these into our diet regularly, and really want to help other people enjoy them too. So putting them in ways that are part of people's routine already, like drinking coffee in the morning, maybe having a tea before bed, whatever it might be. It's a way that people can get these benefits, but not have to make any radical change to what they're already doing.
Awesome. Well, if you're sliding that all into chocolate, I think it's going to be an easy sell for people to, jump on board if chocolate is their thing, right? And I think that's so great. That's great way to get some more good in there with a more natural chocolate product. I think that personally really into that. Now I'm looking online here. Can people order through your store? Do you like ship this stuff? How do people? Yeah.
Yes. Currently just delivery within Winnipeg, or we provide some pickup options as well. Throughout the summer, we will be at farmers markets every single week.
I saw that on here too.
It does change up a little bit. So the East St. Paul market, we're for sure at every Sunday. We're at the St. Norbert farmers market most Saturdays. And then we have a couple different events we're doing. So there's a night market in South Winnipeg, I want to say July 22nd.
Hold on, let me find out. Is it on the website here? Because I'm like, I got a live here. I got a couple of screens that can maybe help with this.
Yeah, we have a page on our website called Market. So
yeah, Summer Bliss.
Curious where you can find us in a given week, that is a great place to look. We update it as often as we can.
Awesome. Yeah, this is a great resource on here, and we'll come back to mention that again on here. But on the website here, there's a list of markets basically for it. So yeah, July 22nd, 4 to 9, and then East St. Paul. You have that one 10 to 2. Sunday.
Another one will be in September that I'm super excited about is the Manitoba Food Fest. So this is like a big sampling event. All the vendors there will be providing samples to participants.
Cool.
That one, that's an event that I think will be a lot of fun. So keep an eye out for that. It is a ticketed event. So,
for sure.
If you're interested in going, make sure you grab those tickets before they sell out.
Okay, awesome. If I click on this, will it take me to?
Yeah, on our website we have information of where you can get the tickets.
Unreal, really well set up. Although I'm not surprised at all. No, this is super well organized. Okay, that is awesome. So that's a good way to find you guys. So online, or they can find you guys at markets. Listener here locally. Are you looking to ship? I guess probably. That seems like a silly question. I'm saying it, but outside of Manitoba, how does that work with a product like this to get in or shipping outside of that? Maybe as a thing, or maybe you're trying to get into like a retail store. Is that something that's on the radar for you guys too? It seems like a natural fit for like a more health food store to carry.
Yeah, definitely on the radar. We're still pretty early in the whole business journey as it is. So
2 months in, right? Is that what you said? And I'm like, yeah.
In March, I want to say, so only a couple months in now. So the first couple months here, we're really just focused on validation on our end, like seeing if this is something that people are resonating with, that they're interested in, and that they would like to keep having in their lives. But definitely on the radar to start exploring those other options, whether it be retail or looking to sell outside of Manitoba. I know there's a few more considerations with that, just even having to have their business registered in other provinces to be able to ship there.
Right.
But it's definitely on our minds and something we'll be looking into and considering in the future.
Awesome. I am just cruising through here. There is, you got a long list of stuff. So people have tons of opportunity this summer locally in Winnipeg here to get a hold of you. But if not, they can also order online. And I think just kind of progressing through this has been a great chat. But Shelby, is there anything that you want to cover and talk about the company that we didn't directly, if I didn't ask or we didn't cover it? I think you've done a great recap, but is there anything that you want to chat about as far as the company goes?
Nothing comes to mind immediately. Maybe just, we had mentioned it before, but if you are curious about learning more about the company or just connecting with us, if you have questions directly, beautybark.ca is our website, so good place for resources. And then we're also pretty active on social media too. So Instagram is probably the best place to look there at _beauty_bark. And I think, Stephen, you mentioned you'd share out the links too, but.
Yes, absolutely. They'll be included in here, and you're segueing perfectly through here. I think, so website, Instagram. Is there any other social media handles that people will be able to find you on, Shelby?
Those would probably be the best two. I'm sure we'll introduce more, but running a business, me and my partner are also still working full time. So we do have our Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job. So it has been a very busy schedule lately. But at some point, I think we'll introduce some more social media too, but one thing at a time.
Yeah, no, that's great. So those are the two main ways to get a hold of you. They can find you in the summer at these different events. And I think that's great for me here. I just want to say thank you so much for jumping on here and dropping off some of these amazing chocolate. I'm going to have to pace myself out this weekend now with these. Having a couple of samples.
Visit us at our next market. You can restock.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely will be doing. And for listener, when we do post this, we'll have for you, Shelby too, we'll have the list of all the links and how to get a hold of you guys there that we can share out there. So just thanks again for jumping on. This was a wealth of energy and information on chocolate and functional mushrooms that you guys have included in your products. I'm super excited to share this episode already, and hope you have a great rest of the day on your end. So
awesome. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure to chat with you, and I'm sure we'll have lots more conversations in time to come.
I think so too. Awesome. Thank you so much, Shelby.